Hello, and welcome to the next episode of Waffle Talks. And for today's video, we'll be talking about furries and sexuality. Before I get started with today's video, I'm gonna just try to act a bit more natural in this one. Now, if you're a furry, I'm sure that's quite obvious with the large fucking amounts of gay porn within the fandom. And it's everywhere, and I mean everywhere. And even if you aren't a furry, you've probably seen all the gay stuff anyways, right? But are all furries gay? No, but a large amount of us are gay and bisexual. A lot of furries in the fandom are male, and within the fandom, you probably want to date people who have the same interests as you. So when it comes down to it, you'll probably find a lot of homosexual relationships. And while there are many furries who are gay, not all of them are. A large portion of the furry fandom is queer, and queers tend to attract other queers. And I think that's actually pretty cool. Well, being a queer myself, I feel like I can be more comfortable being around others who are just like me. And of course that doesn't mean there aren't heterosexual furries. When comparing the furry fandom to the general population, you'll find that the homosexual population tend to be a lot larger in general. And it's because of this, we'll assume that they're all queer, when really they aren't. Compared to the US population, gay people only make up about 2% of the population, while about 1.8 identify as bisexual. Now, comparing it to the furry fandom, there's about 14 to 25% of people who identify as a homosexual, 37 to 52% as bisexual, and 28 to 51% as heterosexual, and 3 to 8% as other forms of sexuality. But to sum things up, those who identify as gay are not as large as we originally thought, but sexuality is measured on a spectrum, so it's hard to keep it up to date. Sexuality is weird. Some people may think just being gay, straight, and bisexual, but as I said, sexuality is on a spectrum. There's asexuality, pansexuality, demisexuality. You get the point. And I know that you're thinking, oh, Nikki, but those are all made up sexualities. No, they fucking aren't. Shut up. Can we just let people identify as what they want? And while I couldn't find any statistics outside of the quote normal sexualities, but I can just say furries who fit in this category are very small in comparison to those who identify as bi or gay. Depending on how long you've been in the fandom, your sexuality may have changed over time. For me, I joined the fandom when I was about 13, so that was about 8 years ago. I thought I was straight. I was like, oh boy, I surely like dick. And then later on I realized, girls can be pretty good too. There's this common misconception that becoming a furry can make you queer, or being a furry makes you gay. You may have came into the fandom as a straight male, only to realize later on that you weren't. No, being a furry doesn't make you gay, but being one isn't gonna make you queer, but can certainly be a gateway to understanding who you are. When the large majority of the fandom is the same sex, and you've been hanging out with them for a few years, you can definitely start to realize things. Or possibly, maybe you were just that one person who was in denial the whole time. In some cases, you thought being gay was a sin, and perhaps you came to the furry fandom as an outlet. You probably thought that these feelings weren't right. Maybe even in some cases these feelings were internalized homophobia. So if you've entered the fandom as a straight person, you probably experienced some of these feelings. Or maybe you just realized that you like dick. Either one. Looking at the sexual aspects of furries, the fandom does not fall short of the variety of fetishes that are on the web. I'm sure that many of you heard of the term GIF, which is essentially just furry sex. Not every furry's into it, but some are. With a large portion of furries being in the LGBT community, you can find that being in this fandom, we tend to do things outside of society's norms. Since we are surrounded by like-minded, accepting individuals, we may draw in a lot of fetish-themed art. Weird, but it makes sense if you think about it. Sexual attraction to anthropomorphic characters isn't too uncommon in this group. About 37% have reported that sexual attraction is important to them, while 24% have reported that it's not very important to them. Well, for others, they don't just give a damn. Males also tend to look at it more than females. And as you can imagine, most furries prefer furry porn over real life porn. I would go looking into zoophiles and fetishes, but I still want to do that as a separate video. Well, that wraps up today's episode of Waffle Talks. And I do read your comments, so I took some of your guys' suggestions from the last video, and I hope this one was better. I want it to be more natural. Well, I do want to work off a script. I don't just want to write it word for word. Heck, I was just really nervous last time. So I really thank you guys for watching my last video. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this series. What do you guys think the next episode should be? Be sure to subscribe and scratch that bell. Also, be sure to check me out on social media. Before I go, I do plan on doing more videos with my fursuit. I'm just not really sure what kind yet. Anyways, thanks for stopping by.